even before a modern Formula One car turns a wheel in anger around the world's racetracks, engineers already have a bank of information to draw on after simulating the car's behavior on supercomputers. At the Toyota team's headquarters in Cologne in Germany, an array of simulation techniques are employed to give the drivers a head start.
I think we live in a digital world now. We have to recognize that, and in Formula One we are pushing the limits of simulation and the utilization of computer power to absolutely understand where the performance can be found in the future. So even if we still use track testing or wind tunnel testing, normally the area that we're looking in is predefined by computer simulation, and we're looking in a fruitful area where we can cultivate performance.
The team simulates the TF108's behavior on a 7-post rig set up to replicate the demands of each track. The car is put on the hydraulic rig, which uses data accumulated from previous seasons to shake and shudder the car exactly as though it was driving over the bumps, curves and curbs. This provides important information regarding suspension and damper settings, giving engineers a strong indication of what works and what doesn't.
It's very important because, contrary to other circuits, you have these chicanes where the more you can ride the curbs, the more you can straight line them, and the more time you're going to gain. That means if you have a car that handles perfect over the curbs, you take them with you, and you're going to gain a lot of speed and lap time just only in the chicanes, which you don't have to gain on the rest of the circuit.
That's just one element of the standard pre-race preparation. The engine dynamometers or test benches are another. A dyno allows the engine to be driven on its own, with no chassis in sight.
Typically before Canada or any other race, we have in our computer the complete throttle behavior that maybe can reproduce Jarno's driving style, or even a virtual driver that is trying to make his lap time in this, with a dyno. And in this way, we can already start to anticipate some potential problem in terms of engine response or engine mapping that the driver and the team can find directly in Canada.
These preparations are specific to each circuit, but simulation goes on across the board, and the fruits of this work will eventually make it to the racetrack.
For example, if during the weekend a driver experiences a particular problem in a certain corner, we can download all the data, reproduce it at home, work with the right time, with the right tools here, and then hopefully to give some suggestion to help the people on the track.
Half-scale models are used in a wind tunnel to test new aerodynamic parts long before they go near a racetrack, and the inquisitive eyes of the competition.
Obviously we have a very large wind tunnel facility, in addition to a very good computational fluid dynamic resource, which is effectively trying to reproduce the wind tunnel in the computer. In the wind tunnel we have a very complex arrangement whereby we try and replicate the track conditions as realistic as possible. In CFD we then try and match the model and the computational model to the tunnel, so we can try and improve the correlation from CFD to the tunnel to the track.
If anything's going to break, it should break here. However, no amount of simulation can ever guarantee a perfect setup. That has to be finalized on track.
No, you cannot trust simulation, because simulation is just simulation. The simulation is just as good as your department, your simulation department is, and in any case it faces, I would say, natural limitations. So what is essential when you use simulation is to know exactly the limits of it. You cannot expect the simulation to tell you exactly how stiff your suspension has to be. What you can expect from the simulation is to give you directions. It will give you a diagnostic. So simulation is all about the way you use it, because simulation is not the reality.
So, work by the backroom engineers should give the drivers a competitive car when they arrive at the circuit, and they begin each weekend knowing that a virtual reality has prepared them for the race.